Yeah, I just wanted to start a little bit with the South Florida game. I'm curious to get your thoughts on just the defense's overall performance, in particular, the way things shook out, and being able to kind of have the turnaround in terms of being able to contain Brian Battie after the first quarter he had.
Yeah, I mean, first drive we played okay. Second and third drives, we didn't play very well, but after that, I thought we settled in and played pretty well overall. A lot of things that we can clean up. A little sloppy there. Obviously, in the first quarter, they had 154 yards rushing, and 100 of those yards came in the first quarter. After the first quarter, they only had 54 yards rushing. So I thought our guys did a good job of taking the adjustments. And he's hard to contain. Last year, he had 3 touchdowns on us, 2 kick returns, and a rushing touchdown. And then this year, obviously, he kind of exploded there in the second half of the first quarter. But after that, I thought we did a really good job, better job of tackling, better job of adjustments. And I thought they did a good job of opening script to put us in some tough situations and tackle some of their best players in space with 10 and 21 and 5. And I thought our guys responded well to how we did that. And, overall, I think a lot of things that we can get better at. I thought we played a solid game, but I think we could play much better in a lot of different situations. But to have 4 fourth down stops and, be good on third down after, the way we started, I was pleased with that, and obviously didn't really like the way that we finished. Obviously it doesn't matter who's in the game. We had guys who had never played and some young guys in there, but the tempo at the end and, no matter who's in, the expectation is the same. And I'm happy we got those guys in there and got some experience, but we got to finish the game better. But overall, solid. I think we could get a lot better, though.
Send it over to Joseph Duarte.
Hey, Doug, how you doing?
What's up, JD?
Sorry if there's any noise in the background where it's hard to hear me, but I wanted to just ask, just moving forward with SMU, Rice at receiver. He seems like he's the guy that everything goes through, playmaker-wise. Just wanted to get your thoughts on defensively having to deal with, outside of Tank, probably one of the premier receivers in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably one of the most premier receivers in the country. He leads the country in receiving yards. I think it's 982 yards receiving, and he's number 4 in the country as far as receptions goes. And then their quarterback is they got number 1 passing offense in our conference, and they're top 10 in the country in passing and 25 in total offense. So he's been targeted, I think, well over 100 times, and he's got 60 plus receptions. I think it's 64. And to put that in perspective, he's got more receptions and more catches than Tank. Not as many touchdowns, but he's a comparable player, and obviously he's very explosive. We've played against him the last couple of years. I think their depth at receiver in the past, they spread the ball around a little bit more with Reggie and Danny Gray last year, and then mixed him in, and he had Calcaterra, and I think he's getting the bulk of the targets now. The offense is a little bit different. Their quarterback is very talented and, has the green light, and he makes contested catches, and he's very good after the catch. So obviously the challenge will be great in containing him. A lot to do with our corners and our secondary. When we have a chance to win those matchups, we have to be able to play man-to-man and be physical. He's big, he's fast, and he's good after the catch. So just got to mix it up and make sure that we're doing everything we can to support our guys and put them in position to make plays.
We'll continue along with Rob Sellers.
Thanks, Andrew. Coach, I wanted to get your thoughts on Anthony Holmes' first action of the year and how you guys graded him out and how you felt he did in his first opportunity.
No, I'm really proud of AJ. We've been kind of trying to develop him and bring him along, and we were trying to find 4 games that he could play in, and we knew he would be a good contributor when he had a chance. He had a really good fall camp. We had depth at the position, and I felt like he needed a little bit more development and, just some technique things. Very intelligent young man. So didn't have a problem putting him in the game as far as busting and knowing what to do. It's just him getting in there and continue to learn how to play, and got his first college action this weekend, and I thought he excelled and probably played better than expectation. Played physical, played with great technique, and was able to make a couple plays and had a TFL. So, he is what we expect him to be, and I think the future is bright for him, and he's only going to get better the more that he plays. And he's competing right now for more playing time, and I think he's doing a good job, and he's done everything we've asked him to do. So look forward to seeing how he plays moving forward.
Thanks, Coach.
Send it back over to Joseph.
Doug Dana was telling us yesterday that, because of game situations, it hasn't been as easy to get some guys in that you'd like to get some work. But he did mention if the opportunity arises, guys like Justice and Dorian could see some action there. From what you've seen in practice up to this point, is it just a matter of getting up to speed, getting them ready for some opportunities, or is it kind of once they get into the game, that's sort of the simulation that you can't do in practice? They're just gonna, when you find the right moment, they're just gonna need to get in there and see what it's all about.
Yeah, with Justice and DK, they're both young in the secondary, and we played in tight games, and both of them have not been completely healthy either. So that's kind of been one thing. But the other thing is just playing that position, you got to understand what you're up against, and they're very, very talented. And we think DK, Justice, AJ Holmes, I see some of the guys that we are trying to find the 4 games for those guys to play, and we think they're going to be big time contributors here for a long time, and they're going to be Big 12 players. So, probably, in the big picture, it's going to benefit our program. And, I think, our head coach does an awesome job of managing the roster, and, we try to make sure that we're putting players in the best position to be successful. And we don't want to put guys out there that aren't ready. Even if we're thin, we've been shuffling guys around to play other positions, and, those guys being healthy and understanding what to do to be able to help the team. So the more guys we play, the better. And every game, it seems like we're shuffling our roster around between injuries and just trying to get some new guys out there to give us a spark, like AJ. And the same thing with the Dame Tucker and some of those guys. So, let them compete in practice and see what their progress is on a week-to-week basis, and we kind of make those decisions each and every week. So, they're all playing 4 at some point, and each week is going to be different based on who's available and how they progress and how they approach the week. And we grade practice like the game, so we expect guys to practice well if they're going to play well. So last week was a prime example with AJ. We had full confidence playing AJ when we moved him up, and he got more reps because of the way that he approached practice. So as those other guys get healthy and we give them an opportunity to get in the game, a lot of that depends on how they practice and where they are mentally and physically to be able to help us win football games.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll keep things open here for Coach Belk.
Doug, if I could follow up, just looking at just even a few years ago where you guys were building your depth when you got here to where you wanted it. You've had some injuries this year. Do you look back on what that depth has meant to you guys? Because, this year, whether it's been like a Jamal Morris or a Jamarcus Cheek or some guys on the D-line or even the secondary, you've had guys that you could plug in that, you can count on. It's not, you're not sending somebody out there that maybe the confidence is lacking because they don't have a lot of experience. You feel like you've got some guys out there that can do the job if you need them.
Yeah, I think, in the last year we had, really, really good depth. I mean, Art and Alex and some of the guys that, are big time players for us and have played a lot of snaps, and Malik and some of these other guys were rotational players. They started some games, but they were primarily backups, and they moved into starting roles, but they were able to have a lot of experience when they got into starting roles. And hopefully that's the same with the Jalen Emery. That's the same with AJ Holmes and guys that we expect to be good players in the future. And the depth is showing a little bit. We got 6 guys who have started games out for the year, right? And so you look at guys like Jalen and AJ and Manny, Jamal, Traylon Payne. You can go down the list of guys who are in there that haven't played significant reps, but how much these quality reps against quality opponents are going to help them in the future. So we just want to keep developing them each and every week. And, it's great for us as coaches. It challenges us, and we got to find the right lineup and put people in positions to be successful. But everybody has the same amount of scholarship. So no matter who you have out there or who's on the field, the expectation is the same, and we got to coach them up and we got to get them ready. Experience does play a role, but they're not going to get better if they don't get in there and get reps. And those guys that we just talked about, the more they play, the better they're going to get. And so I'm excited about, having some of these young guys in the lineup as we move forward. It's only going to help our team and help our roster as they continue to progress and, continue to develop. And those guys are really eager to get in there and prove that they can play at a high level. And they're going to make some mistakes, and we got to coach them through some things. But the youth, the energy, the hunger to get out there and prove that they're good players. And all of these guys were highly touted. Look at AJ and DK and some of the guys, as well as Justice. And, the list goes on of these young guys that are in the game right now that we got to get going. And I think it's going to be big for our team moving forward.
We'll keep it open for a few more questions if there are some. Joseph, we can continue along your way.
Doug, with it seems like Mordecai is going to be the guy unless something changes. From the standpoint of you guys having seen him, what does he offer? And along those lines, have you seen a big difference between Sonny's offense when he was there versus what Rhett does offensively?
Yeah, we played them both. Obviously a couple of years ago, we played a little bit different defensively, schematically than we are now. But we've played against Rhett, and then obviously Coach Dice, they did an incredible job of what they had. There are some similarities in the offense, but there's a lot of differences. But Mordecai is really just what makes it all go. Very talented, can make every throw, ultimate competitor. You see the passion, you see the fire when he plays, and, he's letting it rip, whether it's fourth down and 10 against TCU, throwing a rope across the middle when they were down 28-14, or whether it's a go-ahead touchdown in very competitive games. And when you look at those guys, obviously the statistics kind of tell the story where they're ranked in offense and as a unit. But then when you look at the individual statistics of Mordecai and Rice, I mean, they're two of the best guys in the country. And, I think their head coach and offensive coordinator do a really good job of putting those guys in positions to make plays. And, you don't get a guy like Rice as many targets and catches consistently as he's had, if he's not physically and mentally able to handle the workload that they're giving him. And so we got to be very sharp on all of those different things. And then just the tempo and the explosive capability of their skill position guys. And then up front, their tackles are both 6'8", and both guards and centers are 6'5" apiece. So they got length up front, and they have experience. So they shuffle some guys around over the last couple of weeks. But, they're a veteran group that has a veteran quarterback and a veteran group of receivers that have played a lot of ball. And then you sprinkle in a young tight end and some of these other guys, they're really good offense. In the 4 games they've lost, they've been very competitive against really high quality opponents: Maryland, TCU, Central Florida, Cincinnati, and they were all close games. You look at TCU, so they're very competitive and they can put up points on anybody. So, and they've proven that each and every week.